Alrighty, I think I've got everything that's going to be below deck, as I call it, once I put these boards on, is done. I can put the boards in and then start wiring everything up. So I'm going to get the batteries connected in parallel, and then I'll get the switch hooked up, and I think that's all I need. Then I can put the boards on and start getting everything put in place, and then get things hooked up. I have a couple more lights I want to put on, but they'll be on the perimeter around the outside like this, so I won't need anything to go underneath the boards. The fans, I want to get all of this set up, so I think I want to put a fan right here and a fan in that corner over there. One would draw air in and one would pull air out. So, but I got to get everything set back up. So we're going to go ahead and I got to cut some wires. So I'll be back and we'll get the batteries wired together and get the switch hooked up, and then we'll start laying stuff out on the boards. Alright, first thing we're going to do is anchor this battery in these three angle brackets. Obviously we're not going to drill into the battery, but we're going to put these in up against the battery so it won't be sliding around. Let's drill some holes here so we don't split that piece of wood. Okay, so that's in there. These things aren't going to go anywhere. Pretty solid. So that's it for that. Go get some wires, start getting this wired in. Alright, see there? Alright, I'm trying to get the wires in here, and this is a real tight fit. So this is my switch. I got my battery going, my wire going to the battery, and then this wire here is this one. I think you can see that, maybe. This one right here, this is going to go to the bus bar. The bus bar is going to fit somewhere in here, I hope. I mean, I got plenty of room. But this is a real tight fit. And this switch, I'm going to have to really tighten up because I don't think it'll move when I want to get these tight. But I'm going to have to go get a wrench or some pipe wrench and really tighten this collar down so it doesn't turn around when you turn it on. See, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Don't want that moving around. Because once you get the boards on, then that's it. And this one here is going here. Now I'm just putting these, probably can't see that, move over here. So I do have to put these batteries in parallel, but I'm just putting these on to hold it so I can get these in here. That's going to go there. And got to be careful not to drop these washers, because if they get underneath that board, there's no getting them back. Oh, well, I got to do this here. Put this in there. Just got to take the lock washer out. That one in there. That in there like so. Doing all this kind of blind. building this other one, I dropped a couple of screws underneath the board. They are not coming back, so be careful with these. Don't have another shunt laying around I can get the fasteners off of. Let's see if I can get this on here. Not a lot of room in here. There we go. Okay. Alright, that's gonna work. Alright, I gotta go cut another wire to go from here out to the bus bar, so we'll be back. Alright, I got my wires. These are the ones I had when these batteries were in this other setup. So we'll go ahead and get these connected together. Things tightened up. These things now are in parallel. I got my ground wire going to the shunt, and this is on the B minus from the battery to the shunt, and then P minus from the shunt to the bus bar. This power line I'm going to run up to the bus bar as well. That's the power line to the battery monitor, and I'm doing that so that when I turn everything off, the battery monitor goes off. I think this is it for the day. It is hot out today and humid and sweating to death in here, so we'll start this up tomorrow. Alrighty, looks like I have my layout now. I'm gonna have my battery, my negative battery cable is gonna hook up into this bus bar. My positive is gonna hook up into this bus bar right here. Then we're gonna shoot from here to the switch, or to the fuse, out the fuse to the positive terminal, and then the negative is probably just gonna work its way around to get into here. My fuse block, I'll have a negative coming out into here, positive coming out into here. I have my solar. This is my solar hookup. When I hook the solar panels up, I'm gonna have the positive go into this fuse, out the top and back into here. So I might need to get another wire, and then my negative will go just right into there. This is the wall charger AC, so I have enough that my negative will go into there, the positive will go into here. This is the positive for the battery monitor. That will just go into here. I'm going to have some more lights. I got one light here. I added some wires onto this one. Probably going to have to cut those off. Probably not going to need them. I also added wires onto this cluster right here so that it would reach the fuse box. And I think that's how we're gonna set up now. We'll just take a moment in time on this one, and we'll see what it really looks like once I get going. Anyway, that's where we're at, and we'll continue this at a later date. Okay, it's kind of dark in here. Plus, this is a black box, black lights, black everything. So, I've got all the lights on in here I can get. Anyway, I got this one in. The wire just barely fit in the hole, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. I moved it a little over from this dot. Let's see if I can't, well, here we go. I moved it a little bit over from that dot, just kind of center it up. These are like a two-piece light, where you have the light cord, and you got this rubber piece, and the wire kind of goes through the hole. You can see this. Not all post-production one. And actually, I'm going to put it in the center. There's a center hole here. Center. And that kind of lines up like this. Lines up. Now this hole is kind of small, so I just kind of wrap these together like so, and stuck it in the hole. And then it all pulled through like that. And now each light has some holes in it right here. We'll just drill through there and add some screws to that, or some bolts. So we'll come right back and get this set up. Okay, that looks pretty level to me. Just going to drill 2 holes in here and get the bolts in. Alright, that's the first one. I'll go get the other one, and we'll get the other one drilled out, and we'll be right back. Okay, this is a little interesting in the fact that I thought these bolts would come out a little bit more. Just barely attached to the nut. These are lock nuts, but I don't even think they get that far. And I gotta be extremely careful not to drop this down there, because if I do, it ain't coming back. Alright, I got a wrench. I don't know if it fits all the way though. Alright, so these lights are in. One there, one there. These are pretty bright lights. This one is especially a bright light. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get them all tied together. And I'm going to put a switch, a light switch for these lights, right on top of that switch right there. So then we can just have one light switch for all of them. Anyway, we'll be back in a few. Okay, I got these little connectors right here. You can see, you can't tell how focus that in, but the way these work is you just take your wire, you don't have to even strip it, and there's 2 little holes in here. I don't know if you can see them in the top. You stick your red into one and your black into the other one, and then you close it down. Just want to make, I got one done already. Just want to make sure I'm putting this in the right way. The red goes in the right. So the red fits in there. The black fits in there. kind of go in as far as you can push them. And then you squeeze that down and grab yourself some little needle nose, and then it'll lock in. There's little clips on the side right here that locks in, and then the wire is tight. And then what you'll do is you'll have another wire, another black and red, that come on the top. Go in here. You just got to make sure you put the red on the right side so it lines up with the red down here and the black there. So right now I only have two. I only have these two. I think hopefully I can get that in the shot. This third light here is going to be the end, so that'll just that'll go to the wire that's going to go from here all the way around and over to the switch. So anyway, I got to get another wire to go through here, and I got the wires for the switch on. I just got to now get all these hooked up, and we'll be right back. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hook these switches up. Now, let's see here. I'm just going to let this roll, and we'll just fast forward or edit out. But the for this switch, the middle red, since this is this switch has a light built into it. So the middle red is power, it goes right to the power. The bottom red will hook up to this wire here that's going to have all the reds to it. It's going to hook up to that red. And then the ground is going to hook up to this ground wire here, and then we'll have an additional ground wire hooked into here that'll go into there. So, then like I said, these things, they just hook in. I mean, they just hook right into this little clamp. I just have to cut the wire out a little bit to where I want it. I want a little extra of this wire here. So, if I can find my knife, let's use this, I guess. And I was going to cut all of these the light wires, back a little bit, but I think I can just tuck them down. So let's go ahead and cut this. And I'm just taking my knife in between the two pieces of wire and cutting down in there to do this, basically a little gap. Alright, back at it here. So all you do is you put these wires, make sure you have it right. Mine would be the red is on the top and the black is on the bottom. And you just take your pliers and you snap it in. Like so. And then that makes the connection. You don't have to strip anything. Alright, that's going to leave us enough for all that. And then we'll slide over here and do this one. Mime fashion. Alright, there we go. Okay. This camera is like... Let's see if I can get this hooked up. So what did I say? That these two go together? In there. Alright, you get the gist of it. I'm going to go and turn this camera off, and we'll come right back. Okay, I hope you can see this. So these have the wire nuts on here. I decided to put these sleeves on with the heat shrink connector. But these connectors are 16 to 22 gauge wire. This wire is 22 gauge, but it's always iffy if it's going to work. This is actually smaller than 22 gauge. So I ended up doing about 3 times, but I ended up just stripping this wire a little bit extra and doubling it over both sides, and it seemed to work. So I got that done. And then over here on the switch end, I wanted to use these heat shrink type again, but I didn't have any with the prong on them. I tried to make some like this here, but I couldn't get it to the wire to hold in there, so I was tired of fighting with it. So anyway, I just went with these. It's old style, and their work. I can't cut a lot more of this wire back. I have to move this up a little bit. So anyway, this barely fit in here, so I'm gonna have to adjust where I put my fuse block now to hit that in there. Anyway, I got everything connected. I'm going to use my heat gun here. So this shed is all powered by solar. I've got a 2,000 watt inverter and a 290 amp hour battery. It's fully charged. So I'm going to go ahead and heat shrink these. You might hear the inverter turn on, but it works out just fine. This draws about 1,000 watts when it's on full power. So okay, so we got everything shrink wrapped, or heat shrinked. I'm going to go get a small battery and hook these up and test all these lights out. We'll be back. Alright, this is light test. That light's on. These 2 side ones are on. So, okay, light test works. And we'll get it hooked up to the fuse block and continue wiring. Okay, so I did a few wire adjustments just to see if these wires would fit. I still have to shrink wrap these, and then the fuse here that I'm using, yes, it is upside down, but it's the way it's got to be. I put the connectors on these wires. When you don't really have a plan, because it's going to kind of go like this, fit onto that side. This one is the one coming from the port, so this is going to be coming from the solar panels, and that's going to go in on the top, basically, even though it's the bottom. And this is just going to be the shut-off switch. So, anyway, I got some shrink wrapping to do, and I got to start nailing this stuff down so it doesn't move around. Look, the chickens, you want to know what's going on. Alright, let's get this music muted here. Alright, so, I've got the positive wire. This is going to be the brown one. It's hooked up to the charge controller, and the blue one is the negative. I basically had it when I bought my first solar panel kit. It came with the cord for to the battery to the charge controller. It was really long, so I just cut what I needed, and I just happened to have this section, which was just about the perfect size. So the only thing I had to do was cut this insulated the insulation off. And just be careful, because I thought I nicked this blue cable, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So, because I have used this cable for other things too, but I had this laying around. It was just the right size, so I might as well use it. All right, I think these are where these bus bars are going to go. So we'll get them screwed in. Building these things, there's no, you don't really have any plans. It's kind of all just to see where it fits. All right, so that's in there. Bus bars are in there. All right. Okay, I think we're almost done for the day. We'll come back if we continue. All right, next thing up was my connection right here for the charger for the plug it into the wall, the 110 charger. So that is positive right here. It's connected into there, and the negative is connected into here. So the last thing we have to do as far as the small wires is run a positive and a negative to the fuse box, and then that'll hook that up. So that'll be our next venture, and we'll get that set up and we'll come back. Alrighty, so I got, these are my lines to the circuit breaker, or to the fuse panel, and this is 12 gauge wire, and I was going to use 18 gauge wire. Had it all cut, ready to put on there, because I only have a couple of things on the fuse panel, but if I decide to add more, it's just safety factor. It's probably overkill, but when you come to the electricity, sometimes overkill is better than underkill. So just going to try to work this around here. Alright, I think this is going to work now. So we got our negative cable strung over here, and that's going to go down the bottom. So I'm just going to cut this here. Alright, I will get a wrench, get these off of here, get that hooked up, and then it's just getting the inverter hooked up. So we'll be back. I'm going to walk you through cutting these wires. So I cut this a little bit long, so it goes on the fuse, comes out to here, and I'm going to want my end of my fastener here, or the end of my lug, to go right here where the screw is. So I'm going to cut it right there. That's where I'm not going to cut it there. That's where the end of the lug is. So I'm going to make a little mark. Then I'm going to take the lug and hold it up here. So I'm going to take the lug, because that's where that is. It's basically where that's going to be. And that's where the wire, don't want to cut it there. You want to cut it to where it's going to come up to the lug right here. So you want to cut it right about here. Cutting this off screen here. slide this around. So we're going to cut it basically where I marked it. Make sure that's right. Yep, that's where we're going to want to cut it. Get that out of there. Then let's take this lug up here, like so. And so want to cut the lug, want to cut the wire so that it butts up as far as it'll go into the lug. And I just take these cutters and I'm careful. And I just stick it on here like so. And I just kind of rotate the wire till it cuts. Got to be careful not to cut too much through, which I've done before. I just twist it and then add some pressure while you're twisting it, but not a lot. There we go. Take that off. And then there we go. So now the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're lined up. You want to make sure your lug is lined up. You don't want it twisted or crooked. So you just stick it back on here, try to get all those wires in. It's raining outside. Okay. Try to take it back over here again. I don't know. Whoa. So I got it hooked into the fuse. I got it hooked over here. And I want it like this. So I'm going to make a mark on the lug and on the wire. That way I know that it's going to line up. You got a wire sticking out of there. Okay, I'll bring you over where I've been crimping them. There, I'm just going to walk a little bit. Not over here. Over here. I don't really have a good table over here. Now, I have these crimpers, and this is a 2-gauge lug, but if I put it in the 2-gauge crusher, is what I call it, it won't crush all the way. So this is the 4-gauge. And I'm hoping you can see this. And that's what it looks like. It's good. All right, take it back over here. I'm gonna go get some heat shrink. All right, we're almost there. The only thing I don't like is these are crossing over each other. I just don't know any other way to get around it. Just because of the way the batteries are underneath, I needed to have them a certain way. So the bus bars had to be a certain way. I suppose I could have had longer ones of these and put the positive over there, but then it would still be doing it the way it is. But anyway, these don't get that hot. If they do, these are like these are welding cables, so I don't anticipate these getting hot, and they're probably a little bit bigger than what this inverter's for. So I just have to keep an eye on it, see what happens if, you know, it gets too hot or something like that happens. I'm just going to have to figure something else out. Anyway, I'm going to get everything tightened down, and then we'll come back. We got everything hooked up except this negative. I can untape it. Everything is tightened up. Oops. So there's possible to be a spark here, but highly doubt it. Nope. Okay. tighten it up. Okay, that's tight. I'm gonna have to screw these boards down, I guess, because they are moving around. The other one didn't do that. Okay, so we got everything hooked up. I don't have this thing on yet. I'll put that on once I get this. Make sure we're all working. Batteries were at about 13.4 when I put them in here. They're both reading the same. So we're going to go ahead and turn the switch on and see what happens. Alright, lights came on. The charge controller came on. Turn those lights off. Let's see if these come on. I don't see them coming on, so I'm not sure what's going on with these. I tested them already. There's a power switch on there. Okay, so our first problem is this one doesn't work. Alright, I'll have to figure that out because it did work when I tested it. So something's not hooked up right. Alright, but this one works. Okay. Alright, we're going to go ahead and try to figure out why that. Oh, I see why it's not working. Disconnected. Okay, we're going to turn this off and try to get that back connected. Alright, we're going to take a second try at this. I don't know if you can see, but the power terminal for that light switch came off. It's going to need a little bit more work. But anyway, let's a little bit if I can. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn this on. And alright, there goes the charge controller. And the meter is on. You can't see it, but it's on. We'll turn this inverter on. That's not going to run all the time. There we go, just testing it looks like. That's kind of annoying, but I'm not going to look at it. Like I said, I do have that on-off switch. I can turn it on and off. So I'm going to go ahead and get a light and plug into one of the plug-ins here just to see how it operates. Alrighty, so we got it all hooked up. Everything's connected. I still got to put the covers on the bus bars, and I got to get the cover on the fuse panel. Get it labeled. The lights work, and as you can see, the power to the this is the USB right here, and this is a port for a 5 volt like cigarette lighter type option. So alright, so this all works, and then next step will be getting everything covered up. So anyway, fire my pal. Alright, so I got the fans in, although kind of funkily. I'm going to have to get some double back tape and maybe put on the bottom here just to tape it there. There's not a whole lot of, nothing I can really do for the top. And I got to research fans a little better, because these, I don't know. This is pulling air, that's pushing air out. This is pulling air in. Try to circulate it, close the lid. I've got the thermostatic, or the on-off switch right here. I do have the ability to put a thermostat in here, but that would require another USB port that I don't have. So I think I'm just gonna, if I have to use this, I'll just turn the fans on, and we'll call it good off that. So anyway, fans are in. They're not completely fastened yet, but that will happen before we do our big major tests. Okay, so got everything buttoned down, got all the caps on, got the fans in. I've got some double back tape to kind of hold these in a little bit. Don't know what else to do. I found out the thermostat, which is right here, which is taped. I just taped it right on top of the inverter. That actually, the fans plug into it, and it plugs into the inverter. So I didn't need 2 plug-ins. So I've got the fan on high, and I'll set this when we turn the inverter on. So let's go ahead and power it up. Okay, got things coming on here. Alright, batteries are saying 14.1 on there. We also have this, you can see that, it says 14.1. So let's go ahead and turn the inverter on. And that thing takes a few seconds for it to come all the way on there. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this or not, but the thermostat is on 92, so we can turn it down to I guess that's 80 something there. So when the inverter gets hot, that fans will come on. So I got a light plugged in here. I'm going to test all this stuff, and here is the light. The light works. It's kind of bright, sorry about that. So the light works. I'll turn that off. And then I've got this USB plugged in here on my phone. We'll go ahead and plug my phone in, and we'll see if that works. All right, we'll see if that works. Well, that. So the issue was not the ports; it was my phone. I have a battery case on there that sometimes doesn't recognize. So we see this. You can see the battery is being charged. Let's turn this off. Turn it back on. Let's turn this off. And it says it's charging 100%. And we'll go up to this one here where the voltmeter is. And it also says it's charging 100%. Let's see this. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the lights on. That light works. This light over here, these lights are bright. They work. I got the voltmeter set up. I'll turn this light off here. And I set that up to the proper voltage. So we're at 199 amp hours on there. and 36.46 volts, or 13.6 volts. So we're going to call this a wrap on building this solar generator. Once I get some more time, I'll roll it out to the barn. We'll plug in the refrigerator and the freezer, and we'll do a 24-hour test on it. So for building the solar generator, this is part 3 ending. This is a wrap. Farm life out.